Hi, and welcome to the Agri-Food Pioneers. We're here to give a voice to companies in the agriculture and food industries, making a real difference to the environment. Today, I'm joined by Oliver Rubinstein, Customer Success Manager at Trinity AgTech and founder of Oliver's Muesli. Welcome, Oliver, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Nigel. Great to be here.
It's really fantastic. For one, I'm very keen to learn. Well, I know you've got a couple of roles, but let's start with Oliver's Muesli. How and why did you start that business?
Well, it's good. It's a good question. I've always been, because I work in farming, and I'm not a farmer per se, but I was looking for an opportunity that could kind of get me as close to production as possible. I'm really interested in sustainable cereal production. I've got an interest in heritage grains and things like that. And I eat a lot of muesli. I'm big on sort of health and fitness and things like that. So I was kind of looking for a product that would allow me to work directly with farmers or as directly as possible. That's not too perishable. That's scalable and that's sort of applicable for a mass market, because you don't have to explain what muesli is to people. People either love it or they don't. So that's where it came from, and I wanted an opportunity to allow people to directly incentivize sustainable production, because we're really big on provenance when it comes to meat and fruit and veg and things like that. But you think how much grain you consume in your sort of daily life, and you never give much thought to where or how that's been produced. So that's sort of what I'm setting out to try and address with the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So giving a provenance to the grain, to the ingredients of the muesli.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're bang on there. Like, you don't hear much about that. It's very prominent in meat and dairy, but not so much on the grain front. So I take it you source your ingredients for your muesli in a sustainable way from sustainable sources. Is it organic?
It's not all organic, so some of it's organic. I buy my ingredients via a company called Hobbadods, who work directly with a sort of a cohort of really pioneering farmers. So a lot of the farmers I know personally myself as well. I'd love to be in a position where I can source absolutely directly, but obviously you have to get to a certain scale to do that. But in terms of sort of transparency and things like that, I'm very confident in terms of how they've selected these farmers. So the oats, barley, rye, that's all organic, and then the more niche products like the quinoa and the camelina and the hemp and things like that are not. But they're grown in very low input regenerative systems. So I think it's as sustainable as it can be.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that sounds fascinating. How did you get into this? Like, how do you know so much about the nutritional benefits of the muesli you create?
Well, it's just been a long-standing interest. Really. I did a master's in sustainable agriculture when I was a bit younger, and I've worked in the sector as a researcher and an advisor for several years. I got interested in the sort of nutritional side of things after I heard a guy called Andrew Whitley talk from an organisation called Scotland the Bread.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about the differences in nutrition between different varieties of cereal and things like that, which most people don't even look at in the digestibility. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I think just generally healthy eating is a really important part of my my lifestyle, and I think that resonates with a lot of the consumers who are buying this, because people eat muesli on a regular basis, don't they, as a part of as a healthy, balanced diet. So it's great to have a product that can feed into that.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of them are packed full of sugar and other ingredients that you don't necessarily want in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
There
we go. So it's packaged in 100% compostable packaging. I've actually just done a trial in the garden. I buried a bag to see what would happen, because you never know when people say, "Oh, it's biodegradable," and actually it completely disappeared, which was amazing. So I'm very glad. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I've heard of people burying their pants to test the soil. But you're burying bags of muesli.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah, but no, I don't put any added sugar in it deliberately.
Yeah, sure. So what are the ingredients? Can you list off the back of that what's in that one particularly?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's organic oats, organic wheat flakes, organic barley flakes, and organic rye flakes. And then there's some delicious golden linseed. There's some whole hemp seed, chia seed, puff quinoa, camelina seed, and that's all grown in the UK. And in most cases, I know the name of the producer that's off the top of my
Wow.
head who's grown that, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. I'm all in. So good for the gut, good for the body, and
Exactly.
good fuel as well to get out on the fields and do a
Yeah,
bit of farming. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, it comes in a farmer sized portion as well.
Great, great. Oh well, good for you. How much are you selling? Where are you selling it into?
So it's stocked in a number of farm shops in East Anglia, and then you can buy it online as well. So people can set up a subscription to get you know get a weekly or a monthly subscription. So bag of muesli arriving in the post.
Where do you,
Yeah.
where do you make it? Have you got on-site facilities?
No, I mean at the moment it's at home. So I have the house is full of oats and rye and sacks and sacks and sacks, and that's all obviously mixed and blended and then packaged at home. But
Oh right,
I'd
okay.
love to have more space to be able to do it in bigger quantities.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that's on the road ahead. I can see
Yeah.
great things for Oliver's Muesli. Sounds fascinating. Best of luck with that, Oliver. Just while we're on the subject, what's the uh what's the website where you can get the subscription?
It's oliversmuesli.co.uk. If you Google it, just Google Oliver's Muesli, it should come up because I spent many hours tagging my web pages with all the keywords and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. Go on Oliver's Muesli. There's more information about the product and you can set up a subscription there if you want.
Love it. Well done, Oliver, and well done securing that URL. That's a good one. Great. And so that leads us on to your other role, which is working at Trinity AgTech. So how do you find time for all this? How did that lead you to working there?
Well, I mean, the role, realistically, the role at Trinity Agtech is my main job. Muesli doesn't pay the mortgage just yet, but hopefully it will at some point. But it's great because I'm so interested in sustainable farming, so I get to talk about it, day in day out. It's great talking to the farmers about muesli, and I'd love to be in a position where I can measure the carbon footprint of the ingredients of this, for example. So I've done various different roles in the agriculture sector, and I saw this opportunity at Trinity Agtech, which is a very new company. They've developed this incredible software platform to help farmers measure their sustainability, and I thought I can't really pass up that opportunity. So yeah, I've been there about a year, and
Oh, great.
it's going really well. It's fascinating.
Yeah, sounds it. So tell us a bit more about this software. Is that their only product, or have they got other stuff going on as well?
Well, we've got a suite of software platforms. The main one that we use at the moment is called Sandy, which is for farmers. So basically, you put your farm management information in. We can tell you loads of things about what's going on. So your carbon footprint, your impact on biodiversity, nitrate leaching model, all kinds of things. So it's a really, really powerful, powerful platform. And there's a whole panel of scientists that sit behind the company to make sure that it's as up to date as possible, which is it's really interesting in its own right getting to work with them.
How do they get the data? How do they get the data that they need to make the calculations?
The scientists or the
Well,
farmers.
let's say a farmer wants to subscribe to your
Yeah,
software.
yeah.
How does the software then get the information it needs?
Well, the farmer either enters the data manually, or there are API links with farm management software platforms. So you rely on the user to put the data in one form or the other. But we make use of historic climate data, soil data sets, and things like that as well.
Okay. Sounds fascinating. And so what is your role there at Trinity AgTech?
It's one of the customer success managers. It's a very varied role. there's a bit of business development. But really, what I'm doing is helping customers, say farmers, get the most out of the product. So we sit down with them before they start entering data, help them work out what they actually want to get out of this process. Because some people are coming at it from the point of view, oh, I just want to see how many carbon credits I can generate. Others have got a product like, Oliver's Muesli, for example. They want to show the provenance, the environmental credentials. Others might be part of a big estate, and the estate owners want to benchmark their environmental position. So we try and sit down with them beforehand and work out how we're going to approach it. And then we help them get the data into the platform and then analyze the results as well. So look at what they want to do next after they've got their footprint. How can they actually act on those figures and change the management of the farm?
Wow. So I could see that making a real difference to the environment, and just to kind of getting the word out about what we're actually eating, and what companies are producing for people to eat. Getting that information across to the consumer, I think, is all important. The much data we can gather, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. So how on earth do you balance the two positions? Like, you sound like you got your hands full there.
Yeah, I mean, basically the day is spent helping farmers with their carbon footprints, and then the evening is spent packing bags of muesli, making social media content, and things like that. So yeah, it's quite simple.
Yeah, it sounds like my life.
Yeah,
Pretty full tilt, isn't it?
it is. Yeah.
Oh, good for you, Oliver. Sounds like fun. I'm sure that'll all pay off. And so is the long-term goal to go full time at Oliver's Muesli?
I don't know really. I mean, I really enjoy my day job. It is fascinating. I think we're on the, we're rapidly gaining momentum as a company. With the Trinity taking on more and more farmers. So it's hard to say. At some point, I would love to farm and produce the ingredients myself. Whether
Would you?
or not it's full time or not, I don't know. But it is interesting how many of the farmers we deal with have other roles as well as just farming. They can run quite big farming businesses whilst doing a sort of day job as an advisor or a consultant or whatever it might be. So I think it's definitely possible to keep doing the two.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Actually, I meet a lot of farmers who have similar situations, like
Mm.
have positions on boards, and it's just nice to have another revenue stream, so you're not entirely dependent on the weather.
Absolutely, it's diversification, isn't it? Some
Yeah.
people diversify by putting in holiday cottages, others diversify by getting a job outside of the farm, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Um, and there's a little we have a little tradition on this YouTube channel of sort of asking how can the viewers of the channel sort of help you, both in terms of getting, like, in your role in Trinity AgTech and in Oliver's Muesli. Is there anything we can help accelerate your journey to sustainability?
For sustainability, well, in my mind, the more people who buy Oliver's Muesli, the more demand, the more incentive there is for farmers to farm in a sustainable way, whether that's organic or regenerative, whatever it might be. So that's kind of the aim of this, is to allow people to almost cast a vote for what kind of food production they want to see. And then I think, the other thing, if you are a farmer or a producer, measure your footprint, get a handle on your environmental position, whether or not you act on those numbers. It's really, really important to have that accurate baseline, so you know where you are, because you may well be in a lot better position than you think. For example, don't bury your head in the sand.
Yeah, there's no room for farmers burying their heads in the sand anymore. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't agree more, Oliver. Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's a really hopefully a good introduction into both businesses, and people know where to find us if they want to find out more.
Yeah, well, I'd be really interested for you to come back on when Oliver's Muesli has expanded into its own industrial space, and you've got
Yeah,
a
cool, wouldn't
factory
it?
going.
Yeah, definitely. That's good motivation to get a factory now.
Yeah, go on, Oliver. You can do it. I believe in you. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
No worries. You're welcome, Nigel.
All right. So subscribe now and click the bell so you're notified when we speak to more pioneers of the agri-food industry that are leading the way to a sustainable, low carbon and regenerative future. Thanks for watching. Are you an agri-food pioneer? Get in touch now to arrange your interview.